Production funding for Making It Up North is provided by the citizens of Minnesota through the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund.
Fashion is just looking good. This is much more powerful and much more needed.
The best feeling is when you flip that bag inside and you've made it, you've made the thing.
Invulnerable. There's not much you can do to really mess it up. It's a low-tech solution in a high-tech world.
I'm just sad I missed it.
You need stuff to go with you, and I've always enjoyed, the making, and so bike bags and fanny packs and backpacks and things like that were kind of what I was inspired to make. Something that I use that's sewn. And so that's kind of how ROMP has been discovered, I guess. Charlie and I were talking outside, just chit-chatting about what is this? What do I want to call this? Sully's Workshop, because a lot of people call me Sully. That's fun. Chuck said ROMP. I'm like, I love that. And I was out on a bike ride. I'm like, ROMP, ROMP, ROMP. Talking to my friends about it. I'm all stoked about it. And I'm like, well, that's short and sweet. That could be a sweet acronym. And then Rad Outdoor Multi-Purpose came out of that. People see ROMP, and then they read the fine print, and they read that, and a grin comes on their face. And so that's kind of where the name came from, is just kind of brainstorming. My name's Zach Sullivan, and I'm ROMP Bag Seamster. Not a seamstress, not a sewer, because that's too close to the word sewer, so I'm a seamster. Spend most of the time just lining stuff up, not even sewing. I like the design process and making the things and making them have the functions that I want to have in the product, but I'm not an excellent sewer, I guess. I mean, the machine does it. Like, I can put it in there and make it go straight and keep it in line and make sure I have enough seam tolerance and do it correctly, but I'm not like a top tier sewer. I just like the process of creating the things and designing them. 9/16/20, that's when I start making the fanny pack. That's the prototype, kind of like a cheat sheet on a test, I guess. I haven't really used it since I made it, I don't think. Just the act of making it was like very helpful in remembering what sizes everything is. When the sewing machine came about, everything is just like exponentially grown, I guess. And I started buying more material and thread and spending a lot more time drawing designs and thinking about things that, different ways to make things and making them faster. So this machine is kind of cool. It's I bought it from Vivette Botner, who is the woman that sews all of the tents for Frost River. She does all the custom work and then those big canvas tents. And this used to be in her personal basement for like 15, 20 years. She decided she wanted to get rid of it. Got it tuned up, figured out how to use it. It's been really fun. That's kind of the story. That was in the end of January, early February that I acquired the sewing machine. So it's only been a year, pretty much exactly, which is crazy to think actually now. I haven't even thought about that. It's been a year, and it's been quite a bit has happened. Working at the folk school was a great stepping stone because it really, really, really connected me to all of this community of crafters that are local here. And just getting to know this large group of crafters that are all really good at doing their own thing and making some really, really awesome stuff. That positive energy, sharing that, and people will share it back. Yeah. And then the fun part comes when you get to flip it inside out and you can see what you made. This is a burrito bag. It's made to go on the handlebars of your bike. I can, cost my bags so that when I sell one, I make money. But if I have to spend a bunch of money on the media and on sharing what I'm doing, that's when that's where I see myself
taking it for a spin,
falling short on being able to actually make this a successful business. It's all on Google Docs. It's all spreadsheets. It's all, as somebody's contacting me, that's starting. Oh, I got a message on Instagram. They want a fanny pack. Okay, right over the spreadsheets. We're putting that order in. We're going to make sure that everything is in order, getting produced in order, and things are running smoothly in that way.
But that's what we're working with.
Yeah, maybe. I like that term. That's fun. I'm a MacGyver of sorts, maybe. I don't know. I like to tinker. I've heard a lot of people say that. And I don't know how true it is. I like to work with wood and I like to sew, but there's a lot of things that I can fall short on, like cooking. I have my own product line of a small accessory bag, the burrito bag that goes on your handlebars, and then the fanny packs. And soon to be coming is a backpack design that I was showing you, a couple prototypes that I have done for, and hopefully that'll be coming out within the next few weeks. I can have a couple of those done. I'm still looking for a good name for those too. I don't think I want to just call it a backpack. I want to come up with something fun. I still get a really big kick out of just finishing a product. Going from these like raw materials, and you flip it inside out, as you saw, and it's like, that's the first time you really see it. And that's really satisfying, especially when I know it's for somebody and being like, this totally speaks to that person. Like, this is their colors, this is what they wanted, or whatever it is, and that's really satisfying. Making something, creating something. Just made something that didn't exist before.
I never have rested on my laurels because that's not what designers do. You always have to best yourself over and over and over again. My name is Natalia Walbridge, and I'm the designer and artist and entrepreneur behind Dock 5, a home-based studio business formerly focused on making canvas bags with my artwork and now focused on making masks with my artwork. What I say to myself is it's striving towards excellence. So whatever I did, this is good, how can I make it better? This is living the life in that I've converted basically 95% of my living space into a full-time workspace. And the freedom to do that, of like just deciding that what I need most in my life is a creative space to work. I need certain tools, like even a table is a tool. I need light, I need the feeling of positive vibes in the air to keep me inspired and keep me happy. When I started Dock 5, I really wanted to be about functional things, things that are durable, things that are built with lasting quality, not throwaway fashion that is used for a season and tossed. So I felt like bags was an item that people would use for years at a time rather than just a season at a time. And of course, knowing that there's a lot of great bags out in the world that are also good quality, the way that I set my bags apart is with the original artwork. And that's part of the inspiration for my whole studio here, which is truly unique to be both a sewing studio as well as a printing studio. Now in this time of COVID, I'm more grateful than ever. I've always been happy here, but I think in recent months I've been had even more of a sense of gratitude in a daily way, that I've got beautiful nature outside my back door, that I've got all these beautiful fabrics and colors and things to keep me visually inspired, and I've got all the tools I need to keep producing. The idea for change came like literally overnight. So back in March, I was in the process of in production, making bags, getting ready for the American Craft Show, which is a very well-known show in St. Paul. I was really in the finish line of getting all my bags ready, and the day that the CDC updated the recommendations to say that yes, everybody should be wearing masks, even if it's a fabric mask. So I set aside the bags and I immediately started making masks out of basically cutting up my bandanas to make into masks. And I knew right from the start that it didn't make sense to make masks to sell. I thought about, should I donate and sell or do some kind of pay it forward? If you buy this thing, it'll help support the donated ones. But none of that made any sense to me because I felt such urgency. I almost couldn't sleep at night. I felt like I was compelled to do this, to do as much as I could. And I thought of it really from day one as sewing to save lives. And especially in those early days, and I spent the first few months full-time of the pandemic only donating. I had people begging me to buy them, and I'm like, no, you must wait because these people need it more. Once we got past the emergency situation, and especially as more PPE became available for healthcare workers in particular, I knew then I could turn to making more masks to sell. And that had been my intention because I want to stay in business on a personal level. That's also my goal. If we all need this new accessory in our lives, I want to do the best I can to make something that actually works for what you need. So it really became my mission to do two things. One, to make a mask or a face cover that was actually going to deliver on the best possible function that I could make. So it's about having the right fabric. It's about having the right fit of the mask. So those pleated masks are easier to sew, but they often, for one, move around more when you're talking or fall off. But also you don't want to have any gapping at the sides or even at the bottom. And I'm using a metal piece that really helps the mask sit down along the sides of your nose. You'll notice when I'm talking, my mask is moving in and out. Took me a little while to get used to that at the beginning, but that's actually a good thing because that means all the air coming and going is going through the fabric and not out the edges of the mask. Knowing when I get out of bed every day and whatever hard work I put into that day that I am actually making a difference. One mask at a time, one person at a time is building and building and building to bring something positive, to bring some help. The ability to pivot into making something that is so useful and so needed and have that path be so obvious and so compelling to me, it has motivated me in a way that I have never felt in my life. I've always enjoyed my work. I'm lucky my whole life I've been able to find ways to both be creative and a professional at the same time. I feel like all the things I've learned, both as an artist, as a seamstress, as a business person, what I've learned from marketing, the fact that I already have a studio and I'm already able to work from home, all of those things I didn't even know were leading to this moment, this calling of being able to use my art and my sewing to help people.
It's my hobby gone feral. It's where my brain goes when it's allowed to do whatever it wants to. I just, think in patterns. My father taught me how to sew when I was younger, and it was great. I watched him put together a vest and looked at this towering 6-foot man with a mustache and went, wow, if he can put something together, I can do it, and it was game on since then. It is the hobby that has outlived everything else. No amount of education or training could have prevented this. I've been sewing in some capacity or another for about 35 years, and in that time I've had a lot of chances and a request to fix things, so things that I see go wrong, grommets, snaps, buttons pulling out, I make a point of not letting that happen. My name is Kevin Kinney, and this is the Empire Woolen Canvas Company, and I manufacture outdoor clothing from wool, canvas, and game leather. I only make winter clothing. Empire Woolen Canvas is a deep cold winter clothing thing. I've got a niche, and that niche is moderate to slow moving people in very cold weather. It's perfect for where we are in 55804 Duluth, Minnesota. But I have found that I branched out into some places I didn't think I would go. I sell a lot to Canada, Alaska, and Northern Europe, folks who live and work in cold weather. And they have to have clothing that works the same way every day, no matter what. I purchased this company, Empire Woolen Canvas, about 15 years ago. And with that were 3 very simple designs. One of them was a wool blanket shirt, like a mountain man rendezvous kind of thing. And for several years after that, people kept bothering me to put a hood on it and put a pocket on the front. And I'm like, no. And I finally relented and made one. And wound up creating something of an instant success. We called it the Boreal shirt, and that was how this started. I do a few now and then, semi-custom, where folks will actually send me a blanket, which has become really fun. They get a little participation in the thing, and I have been converting them ever since. So I am actually, right today, building what I'm wearing. This is an Italian officer's blanket, a really good, tough European surplus model. And at this point, I've probably made 1,000 or so of these in my time. The business model I operate is direct-to-consumer manufacturing. It is myself and occasionally a couple of home sewers that work for me. It's a fairly high-end product. I have tried putting stuff in stores, and they have outpaced me. They can sell more than I can produce. So I realized pretty quickly that the best way to do it was to do really good work as fast as you can directly for a consumer. Whether or not it's a standard size up on a shelf where they can come to our website and buy it, or somebody sending in a blanket and having me convert it for them. There's really no better way to kind of make a consistent living at it. The trade-off is that it is labor-intensive, it is customer-focused. There's a lot of back and forth before I even cut a blanket apart. It's limiting. It's self-limiting, but at the same time, it's very fulfilling. So we've got all 4 of our panels ready to go. The hood is ready to pop in place. I'll start by just putting this front and back together. Pros and cons to working from home. Pro, for one, I am my own boss. Con, I'm a lousy employee. The real benefit is I don't have to do anything. I get to choose what I want to do. I run in the black by design. I don't owe the bank, I don't owe the consumer. I get to follow my muse where it needs to go. And the con is, again, there's no economy of scale. It can be hand-to-mouth sometimes of the year. Summer is pretty lean. Learning to budget is hard, especially for a scattered person like myself. I've had a lot of time to think about how to make clothing easier to repair, because there's really no way to make it any tougher than it is already. I mean, wool has got a definite finite life to it, but if you can make the panels easier to open, if you can make them somehow quicker to fix. That adds more value to the garment. And that is done. One Boreal shirt ready for the box. The satisfaction is the feedback. It's the people writing me back 10 and 15 years later and saying, I love this, can you patch it up and keep it going for me, because it's been such a part of my life. And it really is that. This is a lifestyle business for sure. I live outdoors when I can, any season, but winter is my favorite. It really has become, and I've been deathly afraid of cold my whole life, so this is full circle for me. Knowing that what we do for recreation is more important to us as people than what our occupation is makes it extra special for me to hear somebody say, hey, look, you really contributed to me as an outdoor person. That's the satisfaction.